This is Greg Hansen's Video Notebook, brought to you by Albertsons. I'm Star Sports editor Ryan Finley, here with Greg Hansen. Greg, some seismic shifts in the NCAA here in the last week or so. NCAA has allowed the Power 5 conferences to basically act as their own block and kind of do whatever they want in terms of not paying players, but stipends for players. And then a verdict was reached in the Ed O'Bannon case, showing, as we suspected, that the NCAA was legally wrong for basically portraying these athletes in video games without paying them. Two big hits for the way things used to be this week, Greg. Let's talk first about the Power 5. What do you make of that decision?
Inevitable and worrisome. I'm worried about the new regulatory body. The NCAA doesn't have a very good regulatory body, but the Big Five is going to have to put in its own system to regulate everything from recruiting to spending, everything. Sure. I mean, at the beginning, it could go out of control.
Absolutely. If you look at what Arizona's place in the sports world is right now, will it be helped or hurt if this Big Five thing actually passes through?
I might be one of those who say it won't totally be helped. I think it can be hurt a little bit because Arizona isn't the biggest hitter among the Big Five. And money is going to play a factor more than ever now, I think. And Arizona doesn't have all the loose change.
Well, and it doesn't have the kind of resources. Like if you're USC, you're right, it's loose change. You can reach in a couch cushion and pull out a couple million and build a building. If you're at Oregon, between the Nike money and the exposure that you're getting, Arizona sort of is hit by the fact that it's not in a super wealthy area, not like the Bay Area or Los Angeles, and the fact that a lot of their alumni are kind of squeezed out already. I mean, they've sort of hit those people up already, haven't they?
That's right. And if there's an unlimited amount on a cost of attendance, paying above the scholarship, it costs more to go to USC, UCLA, and Stanford and Cal.
Yeah, about 3 times as much, yeah.
So say Cal, which is a team in Arizona's ballpark, tells a top quarterback recruit, well, we'll pay you $6,000 a year above your scholarship. Arizona says, well, we'll pay you $2,100. How are they going to work that out?
Right. And while when you look at cost of living, you go, okay, $2,100 is probably like $5,000 at Cal. Yeah. Your average 17-year-old kid doesn't know cost of living from anything.
No, he'll take the $6,000. Absolutely.
This is Greg Hansen's Video Notebook, brought to you by Albertsons. Ryan Finley here with Greg Hansen, talking about the new NCAA rules. Greg, this is probably good news if you play in the ACC, Big 10, Big 12, Pac-12, SEC. Who'd I leave out?
You got him.
Oh, I got him. In the Big Five. Not such a good thing if you're a Cinderella team in basketball, if you're a Boise State kind of team in football. What does this mean for sort of the secondary conferences and the secondary leagues going forward?
To me, that's a bigger issue than any of the Power 5 schools. What's going to happen to BYU, who I hope, I'm not worried about BYU's welfare. But really, BYU and Boise State, talking about the West, bigger mid-level schools, what if the Power 5 says, okay, we're going to start giving 100 scholarships instead of 85? Well, Boise State can only give 85. Well, they're going to handpick who they get in Boise State and BYU, and they're not going to schedule BYU and Boise State willingly. It could devastate them, and I think everyone in Tucson, a sports fan, is going to be worried about the Cinderella aspect of the big dance.
Yeah.
No more butlers?
Right. Florida Gulf Coast University?
I know it. I do not want to see the Cinderellas now. I don't want to see Oregon as a Cinderella suddenly.
Right. Wrapping things up here, Greg, when you look at the Big Five decision and the O'Bannon case this week, is this progress or is this more red tape?
It's progress because the NCAA hasn't had much progress. I mean, they added the 11th and 12th football games over the last 30 years. That's about the biggest progress they've had, I think.
So progress, so things will, you think, improve for the average student athlete going forward?
Yeah, they'll have more spending money.
Yeah. Well, nothing wrong with that.
To me, that's what it is, spending money, and that's about it.
Right. Sounds good. All right. For Greg Hansen, I'm Ryan Finley. This is Greg Hansen's Video Notebook, brought to you by Albertsons. Join us next time when I promise we will talk about something a little less depressing than the plight of the student athlete and poor Utah State and what's in store for them going forward. We'll see you next time.